Dear friends in Jesus Christ, we all try to confuse ourselves with so many rules and regulations which happen frequently. Even though if we are unsure of the laws or rules, we sometimes, if not frequently, maintain our justness or question in an effort to show to others that we ourselves know better than the other. Rather, we concentrate only on the laws and frequently forget to listen to or follow Christ and keep Him as our utmost priority. The context of today's gospel brings that the Sadducees were sent in to entrap Jesus by the Pharisees, who had been defeated by the first wave of religious leaders. They were all amazed at his answers because he answered them so cleverly. However, they are not happy with his answers, and so they bring a complex spiritual problem to him in chapter 23. Now, Jews sent a lawyer, just one man. They must have been picked up the best man in their lot to deal with him because this group mentality doesn't work there. So this lawyer goes to Jesus and asks a question, which the greatest commandment is. So Jesus answered a question because he knew that there were 248 commandments of things that we were supposed to do and 365 commandments of what we were not allowed to do. So totally there are 613 commandments. Jesus gave us a glimpse of why he came to earth, and he also was teaching to this religious leader about religion versus relationship. The law has become a body but with no soul. And this is the most dangerous thing, semblance of law. But that's what the Pharisees also wanted. That's why we need to constantly remind ourselves that the law must have a soul. I'm not talking about the judicial law, but at least in our lives, the law must have some semblance of a soul to Jesus. Jesus says that the law is the way you have to follow the law in right angles. And Jesus now gives us a double commandment: love your God, but love your neighbor as yourself. He brings the human element back into the law. So loving God was not a doubt, an obsession for the Jews. It was the most important aspect, but it does not make any sense if I love my God, if that law is not accompanied by the love of God's people. Saint Teresa of Avila so beautifully said, I can have prayed for hours together and then I have not loved, and so I have not prayed. How wonderful is that when people strive not to be a holy person, it's an irony. Now let's understand, therefore, what this love of God is. For most people, this love of God is some very mushy emotional feeling. This is love of God, but that's not what God wanted. He wanted us to have a covenantal fidelity, but it's not a contract. The covenantal fidelity is characterized by an unconditional love. When we see in a contract, it can be broken anytime. One person may break it. A contract is time bound, and a contract is not forever. So Jesus added the second dimension taken from book of Leviticus chapter 19 verses 18, which said, you must love your neighbor as yourself. And this is very important dimension. When we see the love of the neighbor flows from how much you love yourself. So Jesus is saying, love your God unconditionally in your heart. If you love Him unconditionally, the next movement is very simple. You love one another. And in pronouncing these two commandments on which hang, as Jesus says, the law and the prophets, He gives to this lawyer the fulfillment of the completeness. And therefore, this lawyer is amazed because Jesus has answered so wisely. May the Lord bless us and help us to know you and love you unconditionally. Amen.